Hello and welcome to this special broadcast. What has happened in Parliament over the last 3-4 days, the tremors of that are still being felt across the country. And to discuss that further, Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiren Rijiju here with us. So first thing first, the Constitutional Amendment Bill has been defeated. But what happens to the fate of women's reservation?
First of all, it is not a defeat for the government or our party. It's a defeat for the women. Unfortunately, the reservation for women in Parliament and the assemblies has been a combined effort of all parties. In last Parliament session in 2023, when this bill was passed, all parties supported it. So the 2023 Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam was an all party supported bill. In that bill itself, it was mentioned very clearly that it will be taken up after 2026 census, and based on that census there will be delimitation. However, the caste-based census is going to take long time. So government is committed to bring the reservation by 2029 Lok Sabha election. So the amendment is necessary. It's a constitutional requirement. Now, if the opposition parties are going back and opposing the women reservation itself, they are not only betraying the women of our country, but they are going back on their own words. They are self-betraying actually in a way. So I feel now the Congress party, along with three prominent regional parties, the Samajwadi, DMK and Trinamool Congress, they are totally exposed. And after their design is exposed, now they are taking the excuse of so many other things, delimitation, delinking from women reservation. It is part of the Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam of 2023. They can't run away from the reality.
But does this mean that women cannot get reservation in Parliament in 2029?
So the problem now is the 2023 Act itself has stipulated about the 2026 census, means any census after 2026. So we have to go back. If we can complete the entire process before 2029, it could have been nice. But the caste-based census itself is a demand by the opposition party, especially the Congress party. Now, in Congress party also there are deep division. They are unable to blame Rahul Gandhi, but the Congress MPs and the Congress cadres are demoralized. How will they face the women of India? So we will continue to push for it. Prime Minister has already stated very clearly to the nation that our effort to provide reservation to the women will always remain intact. We are committed to that. But then the problem is this Congress party. Yeah. They are creating the hurdles.
The problem is also that every time you try and bring the bill, the two bills, you have not withdrawn them. They're still the property of Lok Sabha. But if you want to bring them up in the next session, again you will have to bring the constitutional amendment, and the opposition does not seem on board.
The constitutional amendment is a requirement of the rules, because it is part of the act which was passed in 2023. Anybody who can read ABC can also read this, that the 2023 Nari Shakti Adhiniyam has already mentioned about 26, the census which is going to take place, and the delimitation which will be based on the 2026 and later census. But now I feel that the Congress party is unable to face the electorate. They are scared of the women now. Women are very upset. So they are giving so many excuses. However, nobody is going to buy their excuses. It is a very simple thing that either you support the women reservation or you oppose it. Secondly, about the increase in the Lok Sabha seats, it is a requirement and a call of the time. In many countries, you are well aware of all the democratic nations, the voters in each member of parliament is very less. In countries like England and in Europe, each member of parliament represents something around 70,000, 75,000 voters. In Scandinavian countries, it's a few thousands. Each member of parliament represents some 20, 30,000 people. And here each member of parliament in average represents 25 lakhs, 30 lakhs, 35, 40 lakhs. We need to balance it. How can an elected member of parliament take care of so many voters, which is unprecedented? So the 1971 census, based on which the Lok Sabha seats were created, needs review. This is the call of the time. I don't know what is the problem with the Congress party.
So when you called for this special sitting, the third part of the budget session, were you assured by the opposition that they're going to support you, because you knew you would need a two-third majority?
So how did we pass in 2023? In 2023, all parties supported. Who would have thought and imagined, even in the wildest of the dreams, that the Congress and these people will oppose the reservation which they already supported earlier, and they will oppose now, giving the alibi of the delimitation and other issues. Now, this is something which we can't comprehend. We would have, said it before the nation if we had known that Congress will somersault and take a back seat and stab from the back. We never imagined that.
So are you saying that before, when you were doing this consultation with Congress and Samajwadi and other political parties, they assured you of support and then they went back on it?
First of all, as the principal opposition party, I spoke to Congress party and I wrote letter to Mallikarjun Kharge 2 times. And I spoke to him. And along with him, I spoke to the other leaders of the Congress party. They kept on avoiding the meeting. Then we had to call other parties. Then we had meeting with the DMK, the Samajwadi party, and many members of the India Alliance. Nobody opposed it that time. We explained to them properly. The Home Minister, myself and the Law Minister, 3 of us, we sat with them and we explained to them in details about the projection of the increase of 50% seats and thereby carving out 33% seats for the women and vertical reservation as per the constitutional provisions for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. And percentage wise, each state continues to have their same share in the Lok Sabha. There was no problem. I think the Congress party misled them or maybe coerced them. Otherwise, all the parties were absolutely okay.
Were you especially surprised by Akhilesh Yadav and Samajwadi Party? Because even if the objection was to delimitation, Uttar Pradesh is turning out to be the biggest beneficiary. Maximum number of seats are increasing in UP. So, because we saw you going and meeting Akhilesh Yadav, holding consultation even when the voting was supposed to happen. Were you surprised by the stance taken by Akhilesh and SP?
I was surprised, but then Samajwadi Party had this habit of spinning some other angle and then they spoiled the effort. They were talking about reservation on the basis of religion. And presently Samajwadi Party sought reservation for Muslims. That is not only unfortunate but shameful. In minorities, there are 6 communities as per the notification. And within the minorities also, Samajwadi is seeking reservation for Muslims. That is the most unconstitutional. Even if we say also, how can you provide reservation to the Muslim community? Because the constitution doesn't permit reservation on the basis of religion. So this kind of bizarre stand they took and they spoiled the whole effort of the government. We put so much of efforts. I had run around so much, given my time, my efforts to convince the opposition, and finally on the voting day, they betrayed us. If they had betrayed the government, we can at least give them some kind of solace, some kind of excuse or some kind of, forgiveness. But it is a step on the back of the women of India that I think the women of India will never forgive them.
So do you think the situation could have been saved, because they were asking, you were assuring them, Home Minister was assuring them that 50% seats are going to increase, so there is nothing to fear as far as delimitation bill is concerned. But like Akhilesh Yadav said, that even if you give in writing that a prime minister, woman prime minister will take over the chair tomorrow, we will not believe you. So complete breakdown of trust seems to be the issue.
No, it's not a breakdown. It is not a breakdown. They don't trust the constitution. They don't trust the system. That's all. What can I say more than that?
But was this considered at any point to include that 50% in the bill right on first day, bring in a schedule before the parliamentary proceedings began?
That we have assured them already. It is not that out of the blue we have brought the provision. We have explained to them while we met during the meeting multiple times. We told them that this is the proposal. We shared with them in details. There was nothing new.
So one opposition MP told us that Home Minister is giving us this assurance. Tomorrow if the government goes back on this assurance,
can you go back?
He said all we can do is bring a breach of privilege. If it is written in the law, it has more gravitas.
That we have told them that if they don't trust the words, then we were ready to bring the amendment. That is a matter of just 1 hour. If they want everything to be written, that also we were ready. But sometimes everything's, need not be, spoken in words, because certain things are delegated. Basically, the delimitation exercise is to be done by the delimitation commission. But we have given them the broad outline that the increase has to be 50%, the percentage has to remain same. Each state has to have the same share of their percentage in terms of representation in Lok Sabha as they were carrying. It should be there in a proposed delimitation. So there's nothing to be confused about actually.
Going forward in the next session, how do you see these three bills? Do you think that proposed 50%, if it is included and the constitutional amendment bill is brought back, you can get the opposition support?
No, our efforts to provide justice to the women will continue. How we will do it, I can't spell it now.
But you think you will be able to bring DMK, TMC on board after these elections?
Maybe good sense will prevail on them. They will lose the election. They will face the brunt of the women. We can't teach them a lesson, but the women of India will teach them a lesson.
You've just come back after seeing the situation on ground zero in Bengal. You were there campaigning. What's your assessment? I mean, is the women's reservation issue an issue for the urban and rural Bengali women?
Oh, it's absolutely there, very much on the ground. I'm coming from Kolkata right now, so I could see that the women there are absolutely angry and they are eager to punish the Trinamool Congress for betraying the women of India.
As I'm speaking to you, IPAC, which is political consultant for Trinamool Congress, they have sent messages to their employees saying we are winding up our program in Bengal at the moment. How do you read that situation? IPAC directors have been summoned by ED, they are not appearing.
I think the Trinamool Congress has come to the term that they cannot continue to bulldoze the rule and manipulate everything as per their whims and fancies. So ultimately the law will catch them.
And so also we are hearing from the opposition that after this bill got defeated in Parliament, they're wanting to bring back the impeachment motion against CEC once again. They're saying that this shows that there is bias everywhere, be it election commission or delimitation commission.
Nobody is fool enough to be fooled again and again. How can they bring no confidence motion against CEC when the petition notice itself is already rejected?
My final question, sir, before I wind up, is the biggest problem right now lack of trust between government and opposition? As Parliamentary Affairs Minister, is that your biggest challenge, to convince them that what you're saying is what you mean?
It is not a question of losing the trust. It is a betrayal of the opposition party to the women of India. I have stated clearly that this black spot on the Congress party and their allies on standing against the women of India will remain with them, and they cannot remove this black spot in their character. They are established as anti-women. This cannot be removed ever.
And you don't think there's any resonance of the opposition's counter charge that this was you trying to bring in delimitation via the back door and not about women's reservation?
That I've already explained.
Yeah. You don't think that has any resonance on the ground?
Nobody is fool. The reservation for the women is the purpose. Delimitation is only the exercise, which is there in 2023 delimitation, that Women Reservation Act which we passed. And then going back on that will be further exposed. So better Congress remain quiet and they you pray to the God that they don't get obliterated completely, because the women of India will not let them come to the power.
Thank you so much. That was Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiren Rijiju sharing with the viewers of CNN News 18 exactly what happened in that 3-day special sitting and what future awaits the issue of women reservation.